Fuck. I hate this goddamn podcast. One more goddamn day at this. 7 minutes in heaven. Blah, 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 blah. Welcome to the podcast. I'm gonna sing you a fucking song for the intro. Do 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 do. I still love you. I don't fucking love any of y'all. Are we rolling? Huh? This is awkward, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode. I've been really trying, baby, trying to hold back these feelings for so long. And if you feel like I feel, baby, come on. Oh, listen, sometimes when you're listening to these older love songs, you don't know how appropriate they are, okay? Yeah, I've been really trying for so long to hold back these feelings, but the great thing that he says in that song, he goes, but if you feel like I do, sugar, I think that's the song. He's saying, like, hey, if you feel this way, then it's good. He's not being a creep, okay? The ones you got to worry about is the step back, you're dancing kind of close. That song is the anthem for songs in the club, okay? For the way that dudes are inside of a dance club. Listen, this is no pat on my back, like I'm different than all the fucking guys in the club. No, every guy is the same when they're in a club. It's just where's the creepy meter at? Okay, because it's the weirdest environment. It does not make any sense once you step into a club. And if before I lose you, you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? That song, step back, you're dancing kind of close. I feel a little poke coming through on you. Now, girl, you know I felt it. Ooh, you know I can't help it. You're making it hard for me. That's a real song. Someone sat there in a studio and went, okay, step back, you're dancing kind of close. What's the next line? And they wanted to say that line. This is how much of a problem this is in the club at that time in the world, that it didn't even rhyme with the next line. They just said, fuck it. We need to bring awareness to the fact that dudes are poking us in the club. And we know it's happening. It's no secret, okay? Some guys, that's probably their move. They go up to them and they say, hey, let's see, like cut the bullshit. Show them I got that poke on deck, okay? Just straight, I'm here for a polka party. Maybe that's what it is. They showed up and they're like, dude, polka party? Like that's the move. Polka night. How many guys showed up that night to an actual polka club and they were like, no, that's not that kind of club. And they're like, fuck, well, maybe you shouldn't do false advertising. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, that bit was kind of a stretch. Anyway, back to this main thing. Step back, you're dancing kind of close. I feel a little poke coming through from you. And the dude is not even ashamed. For one, she says a little poke, okay? So he's just a little poking energy, all right? He is like, now girl, I know you felt it. Oh, you know I can't help it. And then if it isn't driven home hard enough, no pun intended, he goes, you're making it hard for me. I get so excited. Dude, what are you, a golden retriever? You just can't handle it? Just gotta get that light bulb out? You guys know what the fuck I'm talking about? But here's the point I'm making. That shit really happens in the club. Dudes really think that's the move. There's a real, I don't know. I haven't been in a dance club since, I don't even know. Sorry, I'm getting a fucking phone call. These people need to know when I'm in the goddamn studio to not bug me. Ladies and gentlemen, I haven't been in a dance club and shit, I don't know how long. It's been well over 10 years. Okay. I would be caught dead in one now. I'd be like, this is no fun for me. The only reason dudes go to the club, chicks, bro, just fucking chicks. Okay, there's no other reason. Listen, I'm gonna trade out some people. If your man is like, hey, I'm just gonna go to the club. I don't know. Terry needs to fucking unwind. It's just the boys going, and they're getting bottle service and everything. Dude, I don't know how many dudes who are just like, yeah, we're just going to the club to hang out. I just need to unwind, de-stress. No, there is an objective going to the club. Okay. It's the weirdest environment. Something happens, and it's that whole weird thing where when you get into an environment that people are doing, you kind of almost adapt to that environment a little bit. Because even when I was in the club, I wasn't my normal, like, happy, like, hey, yeah, do. And like, I would try to hold that as much as possible, and it would actually work to my advantage. Listen, you run out on the dance floor and you're just like, I'm just trying to have a good time. You're fishing with dynamite. Because the girl's like, dude, that guy just wants to have fun. He's not here trying to fuck everyone. He's not going to poke through. He's just here for a good time. And then you do that part. And then you play that part for a while. And you go, surprise, I got my own poke as well. I came here with a Pokemon party in my pants. Okay? And Pikachu chooses you. Okay? Anyway. It's a weird ass environment, and I feel like not enough people are talking about this, how weird clubs are. And there's so many unspoken things, drink at your side. I remember, dude, there was that book and it was like a TV show that was flying around during the early 2000s. It was called like The Pickup Artist or whatever the fuck it was. Me pretending like I didn't read some excerpts from it. Listen, it was the dumbest shit ever. And it had these techniques that dudes were supposed to use in the club. It was supposed to help people who were nerds and who weren't good with chicks get confidence and all these techniques to be able to get these beautiful women that were outside of their league. It was the dumbest shit ever. And there was a TV show. It was entertaining, probably all fake. But there was like all these little like, peacocking. So like I guarantee this is what fueled so much dumb shit during the early 2000s. There was like peacocking was literally a technique. It was like be a bird in the club, okay? Put on fucking frazzle dazzle shirts with glitter, put on bracelets. That was literally one of the things. It was like put on rings so you seem mysterious and what each finger meant while you wore it. And then it was like wear this silly hat that would be a conversation starter. And then you would like go out and you would nag women, which was just like this technique of like putting them down. Everybody's complimenting me or complimenting them. So you be different. You fucking tell them their breath stinks. You fucking tell them, oh, you're hot, but you have weird fingernails. Hey, fuckface. What are we doing here? Okay. It's the weirdest technique. You're just gonna, I don't know. And I feel like now if a guy tried doing that, it's so obvious that that's what's happening. They're like, hey, you're trying to play on my daddy issues. Okay. And, maybe it still works in some regards. But it was an odd thing. And I remember like one of the things it was saying was like when you're in the club, don't hold your drink in front of your chest because it shows that you're insecure. Put it down to your hip to show that you're confident and having a good time. The dumbest shit ever. But guys would do it. Guys would be out there nagging and wearing fucking glitter on their shirt. I had one shirt, okay? And don't judge me for this. It was like a pinstripe dress shirt. And it had like some weird affliction design in the back. And was it a little reflective? It might have been a little reflective under some light, okay? But the whole point I'm making, step back, dancing kind of close. I feel a little poke coming through from you. How many guys were influenced to go to the club and be like, dude, it's okay to put my boner on women because that song said so. Not only that, R&B was all the rage, and that song was a hit. It probably influenced guys, and guys that wouldn't have done it would have been like, I guess this is the technique. It works apparently. And they were just running out there with boners, and guys who couldn't get boners, they were just like, put a fake boner in there. Some guys were probably taking Viagra just to go out there and dance on girls. Be like, nah, this shit just comes stock like that, you know? It's a wild world we live in, ladies and gentlemen. Wild world where we spend the first like 10 minutes just talking about a little poke coming through. But that was the early 2000s, baby. That's what we were living through. Okay, we had the Spice Girls. That might have been late 90s. Times were just different back then. Okay, and sometimes I like to reflect and I wonder what shit is happening now that is just going to be completely, they're going to cancel everybody for doing it. My bet is on factory farming, if we're being real. That's my bet. So if we uncover this episode in like 20 years to cancel me in some way, at least give me credit that I predicted that factory farming was something that we ended up canceling. We looked back on, we're like, I can't believe we were doing that. It's going to be our version of, I don't even know what to compare it to. When they used to fucking blow cigarette smoke in people's ears for earaches. That's what they thought back in the fucking 80s. Your parents want to try to tell you stuff about life. Y'all were doing that kind of shit, okay? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Thursday. We really got into it quick, all right? We went in hard and we went in fast. Giggity. Felt a little poke coming through. Listen, since the last episode, more stuff has been coming out about Elon Musk and Twitter buying it. I still hold the same feelings. I think it's great. I hope it becomes a platform where equality can happen. You see weird pushback from certain people when they're saying, do you want to go? There's one news thing that I saw on this media personality was trying to say. He's like, do you want to go to a party that is lawless, that there's no rules at all? Are you going to go to that party? Probably. It's pretty fucking dope. But he also was like trying to make that comparison. We're like, hey, buddy, the party's on your phone. We're not talking about you going to fucking East Palmdale, deep in that 45th Street East, you know, off of fucking R. Yeah, listen, if you're from the Allen Valley, you know when you start getting to that after like, what was it? Where the Fin and Feather Club was. When you start getting into like the S and the R's of street names, you better mind your P's and Q's, okay? You just wandered into the Elephant Graveyard, all right? You got to be careful when you start going to parties over there. Listen, I've been to a few parties over there. Full disclosure, had a great time. Was there guns at the party? Yeah. Were they just chilling on the table? Yeah. But listen, could have anybody have just picked up a gun at any time and just blew everybody away? Yeah, they could have. But that's what made the party fun. We're all dancing and singing. Also, so yeah, listen, laws of the land, baby. You just gotta go for it. Anyway, that's not a reason in a terrible comparison for what Twitter is, a lawless party. No, it's not. We've gotten so fucked up with what safe spaces are. All right. Because I do think safe spaces, I'm going to say it right now, it's going to be very controversial. I do think safe spaces are important. But in the past years, what safe spaces are extreme and way too far. When I say a safe space, I mean that if someone has an opinion or a joke, for instance, I think comedy should be a safe space to make jokes about anything. And you let the crowd dictate it. You let the moral of a society dictate whether that gets attention or steam or not. Not fabricated, not boosted up by an algorithm because it supports some kind of narrative. There we are with that narrative word again. Because here's the thing, especially with comedy. I think, I do comedy 4 or 5 nights a week. Sometimes they're you're seeing interesting comics. I could see a comic do their first set ever. I could see someone who's doing their 1,000th set ever, and they're just doing the worst material ever. And they've been doing it at a lower level for years and years and years. And it's because their wheels are spinning, because they keep doing this kind of content that no one really wants to see, and they're not developing, and it's not appealing to an audience. So they're staying there at a certain level. I see that because it's just the appeal of people don't really want to see that. And some of the stuff, it goes away. It kind of self-governs itself in what is socially acceptable. I think you're in a better place when you have society governing itself in what our standards are. When you have algorithms and an establishment establishing what those guidelines are and what those norms are and what's acceptable, you're going to lose a lot of shit that gets caught in that system. And it's also going to make people, if we don't have a stage for virtue signaling, all that stuff's going to go away when they realize that shit doesn't work on regular people. Because that's what I feel like a lot of this, like the really woke stuff and the really just virtue signaling stuff, it only appeals in those algorithms. This is what works and gets boosted because it's accepted by the algorithms. So if that wasn't the case, if we did away with those, I think it would kind of iron itself out, that we wouldn't have that kind of shit. And that's something that you're seeing being talked about with this whole thing with Elon Musk buying Twitter. I'm all for it. I'm not worried about it. I think it could be a good thing. I would go back to Twitter, that fucking cesspool of a place. I mean, dude, Twitter, you walk into Twitter, you'll have a bad time. You read these virtue signaling posts and you find out so much of it is just fake. We've talked about this before, so we won't really dive into it. But yeah, even with this whole Amber Heard trial and Johnny Depp, which, by the way, I am just going deeper and deeper into. Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp. I know it's a defamation case where he was allegedly going to sue her for like 35, 40 million. I don't know if he's ever going to get that money, or if she even has that money. But I think already, based on everything that's happened right now, if they just stopped it tomorrow, I think Johnny Depp won. I already think he has the moral victory. Amber Heard, I feel like, should owe him money, any kind of compensation. I feel like because it is a man and a woman that it's even needing to happen, and people aren't realizing like how fucked up that is. You want to talk about something that's fucked up in society. She like shines a light on manipulating these woke narratives and these ideas of what a straight white male is in society. She literally goes, "Oh yeah, Johnny, go in and tell, you tell people I hit you and they're going to say it's a fair fight." Like that's just feeding this idea that, oh, men are so terrible and blah, 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 and they can't be victims and blah, blah. Like she literally was banking on the fact that this has been commonly accepted for a long time. And I just love seeing it debunked. You love seeing it being like, no, Johnny Depp is a victim of abuse, And the reason why it's abuse, could Johnny Depp probably physically win in an altercation? Maybe, probably. I would assume so. But here's the fucked up part. She was being violent against him and all this stuff because she knew that he couldn't do anything back. There's a fucking female privilege out here. Straight white female privilege. Okay. Which is terrible. It's terrible, ladies and gentlemen. But no one else has handled it better than Johnny Depp. I don't know. Do yourself a favor and watch like Johnny Depp funny moments court cases. It's the most amazing thing. And to see how terrible Amber Heard's lawyers are and her whole defense case, they're like the dumbest people ever. It's such a waste, all these resources and everything they're doing, when like they're just like not bright people. It's literally like watching, you just pulled people off of the show Cops. like dumbest criminals and making them defend somebody. They're just like, who did you play in Pirates of the Caribbean? Jack Sparrow. Okay. And what is the role of Jack Sparrow? Okay, great. And then there's one, like, it's just pointless. There's so much just like wasting time because I think they don't have a case at all. Shit's ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. That's all we have on that because I know we've talked about that before. Shit's just getting wild. I watched a new TV show last night. Kind of an old TV show, but I thought it was fucking nuts. I watched the show Hoarders. Okay, episode 1 had 3 mild panic attacks during the show. Okay, for so many different reasons. I realize that I'm some kind of weird OCD person because I started this episode during dinner. I'm watching it. I lose my appetite at these homes. I'm like, this is the craziest mental illness I've ever seen. Can't eat my dinner because I'm seeing the most even thinking about this, how she has all this rotten meat in this container and there's some kind of rotten liquid underneath it. And it's just all pooled up brown water with rotten fruit in it and everything. And she's just laughing, moving it around. She's like, yeah, I guess that did go kind of bad. And then my brain, my weird OCD, I can't stop watching the episode until I see the house cleaned. And then I'm realizing there's something fucked up in you, Evan. And then I realize none of this is about hoarding. Like I realized that with these people on this show, it's some weird mental thing of control over your environment, control over your food. Like one of the ladies was saying that there was a time in her life where she didn't have options with what she could eat. So now she wanted all the options. Plot twist, all her options were rotten. She was debunking all these like food companies with their expiration dates because she had shit that was like 6 years old, fucking yogurt. And she was like, nah, that's still good. It's fine. 6 years old and she'd be eating that shit. And she wasn't dying. So I'm like, there's something to say about that, you know? It's false advertising by all these companies with their expiration dates. That's what I got from it. But it made me realize, like, seeing these kind of people with hoarding, whether it was like stuff inside or outside, and how it all led back to their childhood. And it makes you realize, like, how important those first years are in development and creating a person. Like, this is kind of why I always like have waited to have kids, where I was like, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready. I'm too selfish. I'm not at that point yet. And I'm getting there. I'm getting there now. I'm starting to figure it out, but I'm also like, I don't want to have a kid be when I already am, you know, successful with comedy and just like have made it in that sense, because I don't want this kid to not see that. Like, I don't want, the last thing you want is some fucking little kid that didn't see any work done, you know, any of the building stuff, anything pre Gucci belts, you know? Because you look at like these crazy world leaders who have these rich kids and these just really, you know, powerful people. Their kids are the worst. They're the worst people. These little silver spoon kids, never going to be my kids. Never going to be my kids. They're going to, like, you just have to try to create an environment where they don't, I don't know, get the coast and not be shitty people. And that's why I haven't had kids, is because I'm just like, dude, I got to figure out how I'm going to do that shit so I don't fuck them up. I mean, I'll fuck them up in new ways. Like, I'll figure out like, oh, well, I could have done that better. But it's like trying to figure out my shit and work it out to the point where it's like, I'm not going to end up making this kid a hoarder. Okay. As long as that doesn't happen, I'm like, you know, we did okay. We did okay. As long as they're not a hoarder. Crazy. It was just the craziest show. And I think the one lady was homeless. And I think that's why she was like, I didn't have a choice what I could eat. But when you're homeless, you can just eat whatever. You just go find stuff. I would love to see a show about the day in the life of a homeless person. Now, I want to see a year in the life of a homeless person. I feel like that would be very entertaining and educational, actually, because if you saw how, like, there is there is a homeless person. Like, if you think about the world, there's the best at everything. There's a porn star who's the best porn star there ever was. You know, she shows up to work on time, shakes hands, looks everybody in the eyes, just a super professional, the best one. But we don't know who it is because it's like this subjective thing. And that's like that with every field, you know? There's someone out there who is the best backyard barbecuer, you know? Is it me? I think so. But that's neither here nor there. That's just hearsay. And there is the best homeless person. We just don't know who it is. But there's somewhere out there living in the wild, flourishing. They have like multiple girlfriends. They probably have Netflix. They definitely have a phone. That's coming pretty standard. I had a homeless person ask me on, it was like my first week on 6th Street. Comes up to me, asks me, he goes, "Hey man, do you have a dollar?" And I go, "Nah, man." He goes, "Do you have a cigarette?" I go, "Nah, man." He goes, "Do you have any change?" I go, "Nah, man." And he goes, "You got Venmo?" And I literally stop and I just look at him and I go, "You got Venmo?" And he goes, "Yeah, I got Venmo." And I go, "No, I don't got Venmo." Like I'm just gonna Venmo him money. And it's not like, don't ask me if I have it, because I'm like, yeah, I got a cigarette. I don't. But it's like, I'm not giving it to you. It's mine. Same thing with money. Hey, you got a house? Yeah. Cool, let me have it. Nah. But anyway, I don't want to lose this topic. A TV show where we follow the most successful homeless people. I just think that would be interesting. I think it would be educational. I think it would humanize homeless people, because I think some people, you know, you're scared. There is a lot of mental illness, but it's like they're people. You know, there's someone just trying to live and survive. That's who I'm going for during the apocalypse. I'm gonna start feeding a homeless guy roast beef sandwiches every day, just to get prepared for when there's an apocalypse. Who are you going to turn to for help? The experts, okay? And it's just going to be me and fucking Steve, all right? Just going to be out there rocking it in the free world. It's going to push me around in a shopping cart. It's going to be goddamn glorious, okay? Because all like the survival people, they're all done for, all right? All these preppers, get the fuck out of here. All these hoarders, dude, I'm gonna take over. I'm gonna commandeer a prepper's home so fucking fast. I'm just gonna be waiting, okay? I'm just gonna check back on the History Channel or IGTV where these preppers were located. I'm gonna come fucking take your bunker, okay? Yeah, it's got my name on it. Because that's the thing in the apocalypse. You don't want to be the good guy. No, it doesn't work out like movies. You got to take stuff. And you got to take prepper stuff, okay? Because they're just some fucking dorks that were preparing for this moment their entire life. And it's like, hey, welcome to reality, friend. Okay? We can either split this or we're going to have some problems. That's how I feel about the thing, you know? But ladies and gentlemen, listen. We went hard on this episode. Preppers, I'm just kidding. You guys have your fun. Till I need something. Listen. Apocalypse hits. Start a kingdom real fast. Theatrics are going to win you resources during the apocalypse. You just got to pretend. You know, people walk into a certain area. You have to go, "Who dost thou dare enter my fields?" And you just got to play the part. And they'll be like, "What kind of gifts have you bared for the king?" They'll give you something. Get a Chewy bar out of it or something. And you need everything you need, you know, anything you can get in the apocalypse. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for listening to this episode. Or call this the Goldfish episode, because we were a little all over the place. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening once again. If you haven't liked, comment, subscribe, feel free. Leave us a review on iTunes. It helps. Leave us a review on Spotify. And I hope you guys have a glorious weekend. And remember, no matter what, I still love you.